want to thank you for coming to camp. My name's Thad Johnson with ABC, and I'll be doing your pitching lesson here today. I'm going to take a look at a couple things like your balance position, direction of home plate, and your follow through. First off, I'm going to talk about the balance position in your initial setup here on the rubber. I'd personally like to see you spread your feet out a little bit more, and as you lift, take your foot from a little bit wider position and then bring it up to a balance point. And the reason for this is typically when guys have their feet so close together, there is no discernible difference between the front leg and the back leg, and immediately upon lift, okay, they're going to have to fight to really hold that balance on that back foot. So I'd like to see you spread your feet out a little bit and just take that knee or that foot, and then as you lift the leg, just think about bringing that leg up to your belly button. Inherently, you're going to want to push yourself back, and this is going to what this is going to do is going to keep your weight back. So as we lift to the balance position, top of the delivery, beginning, one thing we're just looking for is that you keep your head over your backside, okay. And what I'm noticing is you do a good job of keeping your weight back, but as you lift, you're really shortening your tall frame, and you're sitting yourself on the ground, okay. And you've yet to break your hands, so you got a lot of wasted movement right here, and you're really shortening up your body. I'd like to see you just stay a little bit taller. Once you get to the top here, let's go ahead and start moving forward. With the lower half, you're going to want to break your hands, and then your top half, your glove and your front foot are just going to be tied together as you move forward. But let's try to get rid of that sit down delivery that you have. Taller guy, you need to pitch tall. Really, everything you want to do is you want to drive the baseball downhill. Okay, you should be thinking about from this position right here that head from that position is going to make that slow decline down the mound, as opposed to being what you're going to do is you're going to sit down and then drive up through the baseball, and it's really counterproductive to what you want to do, which is to pitch down and throw down and create deception with the hitter. So we're gonna move on. We've got the directional part of the delivery, and your top half, you're a little bit closed off with your front side here. You got this kind of a closed off angle with that front side. Typically what we'd like to see is for you to get that glove out there in front, whether or not the elbow is bent or not, because some guys get a straight elbow, straight arm, some guys bend a little bit, but the one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're in line with home plate. Okay, you're getting that thing out and you're not coming around the baseball. So let's be a little bit more direct with your front side. Okay, when we land, what you got going here, we're at the loaded position, or foot strike position. You do a good job of staying back. Okay, it appears that you stride just a hair open. Okay, I'd like to see it stride a little bit more closed, okay, or in line with home plate. And this can be done. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line in the dirt, and you can practice this every single day without a baseball. You draw a line in the dirt, just work on striding on top of the line. Your front foot's in a good position, but it needs to be moved over a little bit to the left, so we're in line with that target. I'd like to see the top half just be a little bit more upright. We don't need to be at such an angle. So you can go ahead and get your body to be a little bit more upright. Going to cause you to stand again, and try to stand up a little bit. Let's use that tall frame you got. And then another thing we need to make sure we do at foot strike is your front side is in a good position, but what you have is you've got this high back elbow, and this is a point of concern for me. This is called a scap load position. This is what a lot of a lot of guys in professional baseball and even now at the college level, when they look at videotape of younger pitchers throwing, a lot of scouts, a lot of recruiters stay away from kids who have this high back elbow simply because there's been a lot of research done, video work done, as it relates to injury, arm injury, shoulder, elbow, and a lot of the guys that come down with an arm injury, the one thing they have in common is a high back elbow at the loaded position or at this foot strike position. So that's something that through mirror work, you just watch yourself in the mirror and watch that backside work as you hit the ground. You know, let's go ahead and just sink that elbow down. One thing that you can always do, you take a look at your arm right here. You're actually in a really good position right here, and what you need to do is you just need to hold on to that position a little bit longer, okay, and just let your arm nice and loose. You're just kind of coiling that elbow up on the backside, getting real short, and you're doing it real early. So you're already that top half is already kind of opening up a little bit before you need to, and that's causing that elbow to get high on you. As we move forward into the release point, you do an okay job of getting out to the front of the baseball. Looks like your chest is going forward, good position. I'd like to see your head be out over your front foot just a little bit more. Okay, so you're driving through the pitch, and a lot of this stuff can be taken care of with just at the initial part of the delivery, not sitting down. You want to think about direction. Okay, your body wants to work in one direction, not two. And right now, what you're trying to do is you're sitting down on the ground, and then you're trying to work your way up through the baseball, and it's causing some problems with your delivery. So right from the get-go, let's go ahead and stay tall over the backside. Let's not hunch over and sit down. Okay, let's go forward. Let's go forward. We need to do a good job of stepping in line with home plate, lowering that back elbow. Okay, and then on the release of the baseball, let's get the head out over the front foot a little bit more at release. You have a good follow through with the arm up until the point that you bring this arm back extremely quick, and what it's called is a backwards C. And we're going to go one more pitch, and I'll show it to you again. So you're going to release the baseball, follow through, good arm extension is awesome, and then you get to about right here, and instead of that hand continuing to travel towards the belly and around, and possibly even getting around to your back side, you just yank it back towards the camera. Okay, and what this is called, this motion right here is called a backwards C motion, and why they call it that is because essentially your arm is kind of tracing the letter C in the air, and they've also linked this to a number of arm injuries, and this is something that I tell my guys that do this, pitchers that do this, I tell them they need to slap. Okay, so they get to the point of that full extension, and now they're trying to get through the pitch, and instead of being so concerned with stopping the delivery, stopping the arm to be ready to catch a ground ball or to pop up and see where the pitch is going, I tell them to slap. And what I'm telling them to slap is I'm telling them to slap the back pocket on their opposite side of their hand. So if you're left-handed, you're going to want to try to slap the pocket on your right pants, or the right of your pants. It's something to think about. It's a good drill to use. Sometimes when guys do a towel drill, okay, they'll hit the towel because they're just working towards a specific target, and once they get to that target, they'll stop their hand, and as opposed to having it travel all the way through. So I wouldn't recommend a towel drill for you. But I definitely work on practicing slapping, okay, the back of your pant leg. and this is going to get you through the pitch a little bit more. So Trey, I want to thank you for coming to camp. I hope you learned a little bit here today and are able to take some of these suggestions with you and make your delivery a little bit better.